Hey guys, Robin with Big Doodle Dreams, and just a minute ago you saw me running the blower on this guy. This guy's pretty awesome. Yes, you are. Mwah. So his name is Hudson, and he is a F1B Sprudel. So his mom is Georgia. Georgia's on my YouTube channel. Her video is, oh goodness, dental toys. Yeah, that's it, dental toys. But she's a Sprudel, and his daddy is a Poodle. Daddy is Reno. I don't think I have him up yet. I'll get him up. I'll make a video. But this guy actually is brindle colored. His spots are striped. Whether we get to see that in this video or not, I don't know. Maybe we'll see if I can part the hair and show you. So the topic, and it's interesting because I chose the topic of this video before he showed up, and when he showed up, I said, oh my goodness, he was drooling from the car ride. So essentially, he's having some car sickness, and his mom and I spoke about this and all of that, and so car sickness is something that dog owners, a lot of them, will experience from time to time. And it's something that honestly needs to be discussed, and not necessarily with the idea of giving medications every time that you're entering the car. That's not achieving what you want to achieve. You want to be able to get to where the dog can go in the car and you will not experience car sickness anymore. So, first things first, if you are a brand new owner of a dog and the dog is a puppy, if it is a puppy, you typically will outgrow it, but you will need to do some things to improve the likelihood of this, being outgrown. So some of the things that I suggest, one is that the dog ride in the front seat, giving them an opportunity to be able to look out, because if you have someone that experiences car sickness, that if they're in the back seat and they're not able to look out, they most likely are going to experience even more car sickness. So that's the first thing I'm going to tell you. Second thing I'm going to tell you, when you decide that you're going to be going and taking your dog on these trips, knowing full well that they have car sickness, we need to start planning ahead of time and practicing. So the more you practice, the better it will get. Riding in the front seat is one of the things I suggest. Do not put your dog in a crate. Crate is like a box. Can you imagine yourself sitting in a box in the back of the vehicle and driving and sliding around in that box? That's the way it is with a crate. So don't put your dog in a crate in the car. Put him in the front seat. Designate time in the morning. Don't do this later in the day when the dog has had food in their stomach. If you have a dog that experiences car sickness, the worst thing you can do is put them in the car when they've got a full belly of food. That can be disastrous. So you do want to do it early in the morning before they've eaten. You want to turn it into a game, a fun thing, and you want to have a reward at the end of it. You're going to keep your initial trips, what we're going to refer to as being training trips, because that's what the dog will need, is training trips. So you're going to load to the front seat, you're going to make it a happy adventure, you're going to go a short distance, maybe only around the block, depends on how severe of car sickness you're dealing with. So just a short distance, return home, give a treat, give a reward, let them know they've been good, and do it again the next morning. So you have to think of this as, it's not going to be a quick fix. You can't just poof overcome it. It's got to be slow going, with like baby steps, essentially. You just small amounts of exposure. Now, if you know you have an appointment, a grooming appointment, a vet appointment, and your dog is still not over car sickness, then plan. Make that appointment early in the day. Don't plan to feed them. That way, and I have had, this one won't, but I have had a dog throw up for me as soon as they get here and we're on the table and we get started, and I didn't realize that they had car sickness. And I have had them throw up right on the table. And that's no fun because they bothered to eat all that food and now they've thrown it all up. It's just not a good combination. You want to make your appointments earlier in the day, and you want to do the same level of reward when they get home. When you're doing the practice trips, like I said, keep them simple, keep them short. As time goes on, increase the amount of driving that you do. Make it a goal that you're eventually going to wind up somewhere fun. Not that you're necessarily going to make 4 trips around the block and keep returning home. You do actually want them to understand that going in the car means that you may wind up at a destination that is fun. So when you've reached that point where they're doing well just around the block, and you think you can go a little further, maybe a couple miles down the road, maybe you can stop at a relative's house, maybe, whatever it may be, whether it's stopping somewhere to take a walk on in a place, a park where you can take a walk, then that would be a great goal to start with. That way the dog has an understanding that the trip is not necessarily because they're going to the vet or they're going to the groomer, but they're going other places as well. So if you have a dog with anxiety, if your dog is older and car riding has never been in the agenda, and even going to the vet is an absolute burden for you, then you really need to go even slower. So rather than that training just being a trip around the block, you're not even going to go that far. You're simply going to get to the car, walk around the car, get in the car, get out of the car, and go back in the house. You start very, very, very simple. You're going to do that a number of times. In and out of the car, back in the house. In and out of the car, back in the house. And instead of doing it once a day, do it several times a day, because you're going to get rid of some of the fear of getting in and out of the car. Then eventually you do want to get in the car and shut the door. Turn the car on, start the air, start the radio, whatever you typically do, and sit in the driveway. Literally, just sit in the driveway. And that stage may take a while before you actually are able to pull out of your driveway and make a circle around your neighborhood. But you have to think in terms of going very slow, and being at the dog's pace. It's not supposed to be at your pace, it's supposed to be at the dog's pace. And when you do this, you are essentially teaching them that there's nothing to be afraid of, and that there's no reason to be anxious about getting in the car. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I pulled too hard. I didn't think I did. You didn't yipe. There was nothing. There was nothing. No, I'm sorry. You getting tired of that spot? I'll move. So, yep, just like this, watching, and he really, I'm going to show you, but he doesn't like, I know, he doesn't like his paws being brushed or touched or held. So when I do this, he probably will wind up snapping at me. This is just him. Not all dogs are that way, but he's a new guy. He's young, aren't you? You're a young guy. You tell him, say, I'm young. So he's close to 40 pounds, I think she said. But he's still all baby. He's not. He is all baby. He's not going to snap at me and bite my hand. But this is his way of telling me that he doesn't like it. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. Just like when you were watching with the dryer, when I was doing the feet, he didn't like it. No, you don't. Your face is still wet from drooling in the car. Mwah. I love you. I know. I know. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You are. Is there hair in your mouth? Do you have hair up in there? Yes. We'll get all that out. There it is. Did you swallow that? What'd you do that for, silly? You swallowed the hair. You put it in icky. You don't need the hair. Goofy boy. Goofy. Yes, I love you too. So when you're trying to overcome the car sickness, oh, you can see his stripes. See his stripes? That's Brindle. That is awesome. I love you. You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. Yep. I have his sister. We'll do a video with your sister soon. Right. Yep. We will. We will. We will. I know. I know. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yep. Yep. Ways of communicating, right? Mouth at my hand to tell me to stop, right? And then I scratch on your chest and you're just cool and fine, huh? I love you too. So going back to the whole practicing in the car. If you have errands to run, if you're planning a trip into town, it's not ideal. Don't do it. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. If your dog is not over the car sickness, then you, honest to God, need to actually plan for an individual, individual trips that are solely for the dog, not for any other reason. And that way they're gonna learn, because you are putting your focus on the dog and not on, running here, running there. Your focus, it changes because it's on the dog rather than I know you don't want me to do your feet. I'm sorry. I know. Stop. You're silly. You're just silly. I love you. So, again, only when you're teaching, make it just for the dog. Reward at the end of it. Keep it consistent. So, if you're getting in the car every single day at 9 a.m. to make that trip, don't change the time on your dog. Don't change anything on your dog. Do it for a number of days exactly the same way. And then eventually increase your distance, increase your time, and add to it. But don't go, oh, we could do around the block and you're fine, so we can go run errands today. Don't do that to your dog. Take your time at it and continue. I know, you're not into it, are you? That's okay. That's okay. You're fine. I love you. You just don't like it. I know. Yeah? So, and this is that fun part of, he's a puppy, so it's going to take me longer to teach him that he doesn't need to mouth me and that we're not hurting you. You just don't like it. Because even if I do a soft touch with my hand on his paw, and so he's already put his mouth, he's got my hand in his mouth. Even just a gentle, soft touch, and he's instantly telling me to stop. So, he's going to take a little longer to break up some of this habits I get, and I don't know that it's necessarily habit. It's a response. It's a response to don't touch my legs. And if I just do it gently, same thing. He's still grabbing at me. Stop. You don't need to do that. Stop. You're fine. You're fine. So for a guy like this, because he doesn't like his legs touched, I'm going to do as minimal as I can and keep him as happy as I can, because the goal is not to have a dog that is scared next time. The goal is to get him adjusted, right? And I've got both your paws in my hands and you're not freaking out at me, and that's a good thing. I've got both paws. You're a good boy. I know. You're a good boy. So, always keeping everything on the positive. I love you. You can give kisses, but I don't want you putting my hand in your mouth. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. So, and this, looking at my position and where I'm at, his head is higher than mine. From a behavior standpoint, it would probably be better if I were standing and above him, because it teaches him that I'm more in control than him. But right now, he's communicating, and that's good, because his communication is not ugly or aggressive or mean. It's not barky. He's not snapping at me. He's not being terrible. So, but this is, again, and you'll see him in future videos because I groom this dog. Yes, I do. I do groom you, Mr. Hudson. You're so cute. Look how pretty you are. You're so beautiful. I know. have a paw. You give me a paw. There's that paw. Yes. And I'm not, see, I'm barely touching. You pull away and it's no big deal. So he's going to take longer to groom because he's just not in it yet. And even though he was born here, raised here by me, it doesn't mean as they mature that we're not going to go through this. Some of them do, some of them don't. I have some dogs that come here and literally just lay down, and I can't hardly get them to stand until the very, when I'm like, I gotta see, because, I'll shave them while they're laying here. And they'll just lay here, right? Just lay here and turn over and all that good stuff. And, you see? Yeah, we're gonna run clippers. You wanna see him? But he does, and he will roll over for me and everything. And you can see how he's reactive to this. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. And I'm using the back end to help him get adjusted. Same thing. This way he sees that, oh, that's okay. It's not hurting you. It's just vibrating and making sound. It's not hurting you, not in the least, is it? No. So this is just, one of these things. And I groomed him. I mean, you're looking at his coat, and I did this last time I saw him, and he allowed me. It took effort. It took a little longer than what I would like it to be. The hardest part on this dog is going to be this part right here when I have to shave between the pads. That's okay. That's okay. I know you don't want me touching your feet. You don't want me touching them. And I will not stick scissors between there. I've heard of somebody that actually has used scissors between the pads, and I won't do it. I know better. That's they wiggle and move and all that good stuff. These aren't going to hurt. Even if I sit here and do this on me, it's not going to hurt me. If it's not going to hurt me, it's not going to hurt the dog, okay? He just doesn't like it. He's not used to it. So think, instead of me sticking clippers up in your face, stop. I know you don't like it. We do have to clean up your eyes. Yeah. So, when looking at your dog and what you can do about the traveling in the car and all that good stuff, you have to just keep on doing. Find what works, and again, repeat. It's something that has to keep going on daily. If you only practice once every 10 days or 2 weeks, it won't be effective. It literally has to be every single day, so that they learn that when they take the ride around the block, that they will get, stop, we're not doing that. Thank you. You're gonna lay down? Wonderful, lay down. I'll brush the back end. We'll get your tail. How's that? I'll brush your tail. We'll get back to that face in a minute. But if the dog knows what the outcome is going to be, they're going to return to the house, they're going to get a treat, then they will learn that there's nothing negative and bad and all that good stuff. And again, you do have to put them in the front seat, because if it is true car sickness, movement, driving up and down hills, it's very hilly where I live, then you will absolutely want them in the front seat, and that way you can discern between true car sickness versus anxiety versus just not used to it. Empty stomach, repeat. Same time every day, be consistent, same level of high interest reward, meaning a treat that's only given when you go in a car. Go in a car, this is the treat you get. And it's got to be something that the dog absolutely loves. And if your dog loves to play catch, then by all means, work up to the point where you go to a location where they have an area that's fenced where you can play catch, you know, more so than just in your own yard. I know, you really just don't like it, do you? You really don't. And that's okay. Look at that tongue. You silly goose. Yes. So, let's see. Gosh darn, I've got so many stories. And car sickness, I almost think that every dog goes through it at one point or another. I can tell you that if you've done surgery at the vet, spay, neuter, all that good stuff, and you bring them home after, you're more likely to experience car sickness. But true car sickness occurs every time you get in the car. And it doesn't mean that they throw up. In his case, he drools. He is all wet in the mouth, and I still haven't because he didn't like the dryer that well, so I was very careful about what I did and how I did it. Easy. I know you don't like it. I know you don't. And that's okay. We're going to get past this. And he will. And you'll see as time goes on, he probably will turn into a dog that just lays here and is perfectly fine. But the initial part of this, you know, he's come into his own. He reached maturity. He's over 6 months. He's been neutered. I know you don't want me to touch that. Can I comb? Will you let me comb it? Oh, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. What a good boy you are. Right, Hudson? Huh? So sweet. Oh, good boy. See, now we're laying down. Wild. Yeah. What a good boy. So, there might be time, like in my case, because I raise puppies, and there have been a handful of times where I've had to make a drive, driven the puppies or driven several puppies to a location and not had an extra set of hands in the car, and therefore had to put them in a crate. Oh, it's disastrous. You get to the other end and you wind up having sopping wet puppies. I mean, they're just from the drool and the throw up, and oh, it can be such a mess. So, and that's that whole riding in a crate thing. Because if you're in a crate, I know you don't like it. It's okay. It's okay. All right. I'm not afraid of you, dude. I'm not afraid of you. Yep. So again, communication. He growled at me. He didn't want me to mess with his ear. And instead of just going, ah, and pulling back and freaking out, I kept my hand there and I said, I'm not afraid of you. And that's the best way to communicate, is to let him know, look, I'm not, your growling isn't, no, we're not going to bite. You don't want me messing with that ear right now. All right, we'll move. I'll move to another spot. You're just going to take longer. I see that now. It's what it is. It's going to take us longer to get you done, and that's okay. Yes, that's okay. See the camera? He's like, I don't know. So I'm gonna work on getting him done. I don't need to run the camera for a whole hour today. And him and I will. We're gonna sit here. It's gonna take us a while. A lot of extra communication between him and I. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. You can see I'm intentionally touching places that he doesn't want me to touch, but I don't have clippers or anything. It's just my hands. It's just my hands. This way we can get adjusted. Yeah, we can get adjusted. You know, you can teach a dog to get over things and to get, past things. This is one of, these areas where, in his case, he's a breed that has to be groomed. And there is no point I've seen other groomers will just throw a muzzle on the dog and just quick get it done. And that's that's counterproductive in this case. He needs to learn that this is positive and that there's not going to be anything negative during the grooming session. He's got to learn that this is a good experience and that he likes coming back. If I don't put forth that effort to make it so that he likes coming back, then I will be dealing with a miserable dog every single time I groom him. And that is absolutely counterproductive, because that would be harder on me. It's far easier for me to spend the extra time to help him get adjusted so that we can have more successful groomings in the future, so that he'll learn, like most of my others, that'll show up and just, some of them leap up on the table and literally lay down, roll over, and expose their belly because they're happy to do it. So he's one that's going to take us longer. It's going to take me longer to groom him. And in all actuality, I'm going to ask the family that we get him back a little sooner. I know, because you're beautiful, but we got to keep up with this coat to make sure you stay beautiful. Yes, I know. So I'm going to put my focus and my attention on him, and therefore I am going to say goodbye to you guys. I'm sorry. I can't stick around today because I really do need to work with him, and now he's finally laying down for me, and that's good. But no, my focus has to get back on him, and I've got to spend the time talking to him and telling him what I'm going to do next. I'm going to, brush your hair, I'm going to scissor, and that's part of it, so that he will learn the terminology. And when he gets antsy, I can look at him and I can say, do you want me to? I'll move, I'll stop, and we can stop and change positions, and he'll learn my words. Dogs can learn words, meaning teaching, like in the tub when I bath a dog, they stand one direction and we get it wet on one side, and I look at him and I say, okay, it's time to turn. By the time that we've done that bath 4 or 5 times and I say it's time to turn, then they literally will turn around and face the other way so I can get them wet. And then I can soap them up and I can say time to turn, and they'll turn again. It's not me physically making a dog do it. It's wonderful if you can teach that from that, very early on. Same thing with being on the table. If you can teach it. I'm going to touch, and you tell them what you're going to do before you do it. And then you talk to them the whole way through, and you use positive, sweet, kind, and let them know that at any time we can stop. We can take a break. We don't have to continue. We can stop and give hugs and kisses and know that everything is fine before we start back up again. So I'm glad he's reached comfort, but now I'm going to start again, and I'm going to try again, and communication has to take place between him and I, and not necessarily me and the camera. So guys, it was lovely. Please subscribe to my channel and pay attention, because I will be putting out new and more material. I'm trying really hard to do that, because there are so many things that if I can help some other dog, some other family, somebody else to get past certain things, then I will, because it's worth it to me to see success with others, whether it's my dog or someone else's dog or a rescue dog from the shelter, whatever it may be. If you gain something that improves your life and it's because I put out that material, then I feel success. So please subscribe to my channel, visit my website, Big Doodle Dreams, and I will see you guys next time.